The Fujicast is an independent loading zone production.
Kev, I've become the custodian for a lot of books. And I mean a lot of books. I don't own them. I am the custodian for them. I don't know how long I'll have them. It might be years. But I was just digging through the books, actually, and I found one that I know you'll love. Robert Frank, London, Wales. Have you got that one?
I haven't, no.
Beautiful. Let me pass it over to you, but it's... this makes me feel like I want to go shooting with a film camera again. Have a look at that.
I didn't know that Robert Frank did the whole...
No, I didn't. It confused me, because Robert Frank, of course, the Americans, very, very famous.
Yeah.
But London, Wales, not so.
Yeah, it's all coal miners, look.
Yeah.
Oh, look, there's my uncle.
No, that's your auntie.
Yeah, this is
Auntie
ace,
Nancy,
isn't it?
did she used to work down the night?
No, Auntie Nancy is from America.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, bless her. Oh, look at that. That's insane. I love that picture.
What's that one?
Queuing up after to go down to the shower block.
Oh, yeah, look at that. Look. Yeah. Amazing book.
No, I've never heard of that one.
Yeah.
However, it's now on my list of wants.
Yeah. But I've become a bit of a book collector, so...
we can always dip in if I run out.
No, I'll have a few boxes worth. You might have probably quite a few of them, though.
The Fujicast.
Anyway, welcome again to the Fujicast. Another Monday, don't they come round quickly? It's you and your questions from our electronic mailbag, and of course, also through the Fujicast private Facebook group that you're welcome to become a part of. If you want to send a mail through, send a click at fujicast.co.uk. Or you can send them through to our Facebook group, and of course Kev is looking after those, although I think I might have to dip into those a bit, Kev.
Yeah.
Because the mailbag's looking a bit empty down here. There's nothing in it. If you're not a Fujifilm shooter, don't worry. It's a big old community, and whatever flavour of camera you shoot, as I say each week, you're very welcome to be here. Thank you to those who are supporting us on Patreon. As Kev's Book of the Week this week is...
Walker Evans, American Photographs.
Oh, right, okay.
Very famous book, actually.
Yeah. Have you only just got that one as well, haven't you?
Yeah, this is I think this is like the 75th edition.
It's not going to be the first
anniversary reprint or something.
Not going to be a first edition, that one, is it?
No, good lord, no.
And of course, after today's show, some of the subjects that we talk about get picked up in the private Facebook group. And today also, we have, instead of a guest, an appeal. Something we've talked about before, though now with our wonderful community of Fujifilm photographers, both pro and amateur. We'd like to kick it off with your help. I'll be doing that halfway through. Right, should we crack on with the questions straight away?
Yeah.
Have you got one?
I have.
You got one, Kev? You got one?
Yeah. Okay, I've got a question here from Albert Villaroman.
Villaroman.
That's like a Roman villa, only in reverse. Villaroman. Right, have you...
nothing gets past you, does it, Kev?
No, nothing at all. Do you believe in aliens?
Is this part of the question, or is this...
Yeah, it's related.
Okay. I think I do, actually. I do think there are,
other species.
It was very interesting to watch them flying a drone on Mars, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Amazing. And nobody there to say, you can't fly your drone here.
Yeah, I was half expecting to see a DJI logo on the side of it.
Yeah, they get everywhere. So, yeah, I think I do believe. And I'm not sure I believe in all those Roswell things, with rubber aliens on a table being cut up for the cameras.
There's a bar there. It's called the Little Alien.
Have you been to Roswell?
Yeah, I've been to area, whatever it's
51.
called. I've stood at the gates and had the guns pointed at me, yeah.
Do they actually point guns at you?
Yeah, they do. You can see the guards, and they're stood and they glint what they were doing when we were there, was they would glint the sun would reflect off their weapons so that you knew they were there in the mountains.
Wow.
Didn't actually see them, but yeah.
Oh, so you just know that they're there.
You know they're there, yeah.
Oh dear.
And there's this little pub called the Little Alien.
The Little Alien?
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Oh, that is fantastic.
We turned up. I was... I was under 21, so I couldn't drive. Right. I remember that.
You probably couldn't drink either, because the 21 liquor age, isn't it?
Well, yes, but we'll ignore that bit. But I couldn't drive.
Okay.
So I just sat at the back of the car while my mates drove me all around America, west coast of America. And we were in Las Vegas, and one day he said, I really want to go to he was a proper dork. I really want to go and see the area 51.
Right, okay.
I was like, all right, that sounds fine. And so I sat in the back of the car. It's not far, he said. I sat in the back of the car. About 8 hours later, we pull up to this place called the Little Alien, just as she's shut in.
Oh, no. So you didn't even get in?
No, which she did. She opened for us. We played a game of pool, had a beer.
Yeah.
He didn't, obviously, because he was driving.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it.
Did any aliens turn up?
No, didn't see any aliens.
No.
However, Albert's question is, what would be the type of camera gear, it doesn't have to be a Fujifilm, and settings to use to capture video of a UFO?
No, when we ask for left field questions, you have performed admirably.
He says, like in a CE5 meetup. Do you know what a CE5 meetup is?
No, I don't. Do you know what one is?
Well, I've just looked up a CE5 handbook. I found a CE5 handbook.
What is that?
It's an illustrated and easy-to-use guide to help you contact extraterrestrial life. This is the paperback version. You can also get it on Kindle.
You're looking that up using my internet here. Don't start looking up dodgy stuff.
I found a really good. It's on the cdn.website-editor.net. It's a hidden PDF, something, some security thing on it, whatever. How to Make Contact, CE5 by Ray Dove.
Yeah.
Right, CE5 stands for Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind.
Where did the fourth go?
Well, they went, but they have to be human-initiated contact with non-human beings.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I feel like there should be a few of these in mid-Wales, definitely. Step one, right? Note, the steps can be followed by a solo person, indoors or outdoors.
Oh my God, they have a whole rule set for
or
this.
by a group. Step one, locate, designate an appropriate spot for your CE5. Step two, prepare yourself for meditation.
Meditation?
Step three, meditation, state intentions.
Do you mean mediation?
No, meditation.
Right.
Because they're trying to contact the fellas, isn't they? The little green fellas.
Yeah.
Out loud or inwardly, that's step three. Step four, focus on your heart center. Mentally project your peaceful intentions and invitation out into the cosmos.
Yeah.
Step five, scan the skies for ET crafts or visual phenomenon. Step six, write down or journal your experiences.
Of this meeting.
And then debrief. Yeah.
Well, debrief with the alien or with your mates in the bar?
Yeah, don't know, but
Meanwhile,
that's very important that you do the debrief.
Meanwhile, the alien comes down, looks at you, think, what the f*** is that? And blows you to pieces while you're still meditating.
I feel I'm not quite like we're taking this obviously
not very seriously.
Not very seriously.
Should be, I know.
And it could be very important for Albert and other people, because I also believe in even though it's like contrary to my religious beliefs, I do believe that we're not the only people in the entire. Actually, it's not contrary to my religious beliefs, but it kind of blurs the boundaries a little bit.
Do you mean there could actually be a Darth Mullin somewhere?
And so, if you were to be taking a picture of a UFO, a video of a UFO.
Do you know the trouble is, when I see things like that, it'll be, what is that? And I wouldn't remember to bring the camera to my eye. We'll go past it. Oh, I should have taken a picture of that.
Yeah, I think we'll defer that to the Hollywood studio directors. They probably have a better knowledge of it.
Yeah, but no, he's talking about real experience of. I mean, I've often seen things out the side of out of an aircraft when I'm flying, but I've taken pictures of. I'm not sure if it's another aircraft or what it is, and I can get lost down YouTube rabbit holes looking at stuff like that.
Yeah, I can too, until it gets a bit stupid. You often get stupid people, but yeah, I mean the serious ones. I did watch Close Encounters the other day for the first time I've ever seen it, and that's a little bit wacky, but it's a fantastic film. Yeah. But yeah, well, it depends. Like, because no one's ever really seen one, regardless what they say, nobody's proved it. Then who knows?
Doesn't Richard Dreyfuss make a mountain out of mashed potato or something?
Yes, he does make a mountain out of mashed potato, because he's like that's where the home of it all is. Yeah.
That's what they're coming for, these aliens. Mashed potato.
My view on this is that actually the entire world is covered head to toe in CCTV.
Yeah.
Many people have got Ringo Bingo Dingo Bingo bells on their front door. They've all got web cameras in their cars. Every street has got 100 CCTV things. If they can't film it, then probably the chance of you standing in one particular place, with your CE5 guide meditating, is not likely to really do anything. If it did, though, I would probably just film it rather than wait and try and take a still.
Yeah.
Missed it.
That goes back to a question last week of actually composing it and really nicely making an artistic job of it before this thing comes out and shoots you to bits. but there we go. Well, I'd like to believe there is stuff out there. And, yeah, the idea is nice. I quite like that idea.
For the full how to make contact with the CE5, remember CE5 was Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, human-initiated contact with non-human beings. The full how-to video is on the Pete and Ray Pathway Show, which is a YouTube channel.
Is it?
Welcome to the wacky world of FujiCast.
Meanwhile, Denise Bass has been having contact of her own with Cuba. She wrote a while back and asked a question about making a photo book. Do you remember? Mm-hmm. Very exciting. She said, very helpful. Thanks for answering the questions on the episode. My question was how to approach organising, editing, designing a photo book for a trip to Cuba. So after many months and many anguishing conversations with you, I've finished my book. I had your suggestions in mind the entire time, but I didn't follow any of them.
Brilliant.
I used more than one picture on the spread. I let the pictures go across the centre crease. Oh, Kev hates pictures across the centre crease. Can't put them in the gutter. I have random pages of black and whites among colour pages. I feel myself, I'm beginning to shake a bit now. I have words next to pictures. That's all right, though. I hope you aren't disappointed when you see it. When I first started, I had the idea of making a beautiful artistic book like the ones you talk about on the podcast. But here's the thing that helped me get past my internal debates that she was having with herself when she wasn't listening to us at all about the book design, Kev. Define my goal for the book and stick with it. My goal was to make a book for myself of pictures that spark a memory or accurately sum up a feeling about a place, moment, person, and so on. So that's what I did. I'm happy with it. We've seen it. Looks great.
Yeah.
And I think that's great advice. And we talked about, it was a self-published book last week. There was Book of the Week from Chris, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And so, you've gone and done the same thing, Denise, but you've made it for yourself. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And it does look beautiful. And you're quite right to ignore us. For no, seriously, but for the things that make sense.
It was about you, not about us.
Yeah, absolutely.
But,
well done. Good for you. Good for you.
Right, question, Kev.
Okay, this is from Daniel Johnson, and he says, I've heard the cleaning the sensor on the XT4 and the XH1 is not as easy as a non-IBIS sensor, ?
Right. Oh, God. You don't clean your sensors.
I never clean my sensor, but I would hazard a guess that that's true. That sounds true. That if it's got an IBIS,
well, that's because you've got to be.
Got to be a bit more careful.
Have you never cleaned a sensor, Kev?
Nope.
Got a whole load of sensor cleaners here. Would you like one?
Are they sensor cleaners?
Would you like a sensor cleaner? I've got a couple here. Yeah, these are sensor cleaners. Let me show you what one looks like. I'll open one up for you. You must have seen one of these.
Are they like those things you stick in your ears?
No, well,
really.
If you stuck this in your ear, you'd have a problem.
If you're a pendant bear.
No, you just go like that on the sensor. Does that? And you squirt a little bit of cleaning juice on it, spit on it a bit, and then rub it across.
Nah.
I clean my sensors quite happily.
Do you?
Yeah, definitely. When I was in Africa, I was cleaning them every day.
Yeah.
It didn't matter what I did. I was trying, to be so careful of changing lenses. But there was always a little bit of dust that got in every single time.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't trust myself with that.
Yeah. Think of it like a COVID test. But there we go. Throw that away now because you can't use it again.
But yes, it does make sense that it would be more difficult, and that's why I mean, my cameras go off for a service every few years, so hopefully they do it then for me. Yeah. But I rarely shoot it like F22 and stuff, which is where you'd notice it.
Yeah. One from Mark Dell. Good afternoon, evening, morning, whenever you read this. Thanks for reading out my weekend warrior email. I use that term as I was once called that by another photographer. We've already identified you don't like that term, do you, at all?
I don't think anybody does, really, do they?
Yeah. I've had a mild form of gas. Sorry to hear that, Mark. Recently picked up a rather minty example of this much maligned and generally hated little camera. What's he talking about? Which camera? My take on it is the usual YouTube reviewers have really missed the point on this camera. I bought it to have something small and compact with me all the time.
XF10.
Ah, XF10, right. And here's a picture of his dog, his beloved dog. He loves his dog.
Yeah, another dog called Indy, I think, if I remember rightly.
Right, yeah. Oh, he's gorgeous, Indy. Look at him.
Everybody calls their dogs Indy. Yeah, beautiful.
Just when you look at him, you can almost hear the voice. Hello, what are you looking at?
Yeah.
Hey, stop staring. My question to you both is it the photographer that really makes the camera shine? Any camera used properly can give excellent results. This is one of those, as I read and watch reviews, but I just don't get all that negativity. So yeah, there's Indy. Yeah, lovely picture. Yeah, is it the photographer that really makes a camera shine?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Really?
Yeah. The whole YouTube stuff. The XF, I liked my little XF. Oh, I didn't. I had it on loan for a couple of weeks. Yeah, it's a fab little camera. I mean, it's not. It's just not as capable and as good in low light and stuff as it is like the X100. But it is a fab little camera, tiny. But what you have to remember with YouTube also is that the clickbait.
Yeah.
Why I ditched my XF10. And then actually they probably didn't.
But it works, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does work. It does work because people are stupid.
You've never clickbaited, have you? Really?
Not really.
Right.
I mean, I tend if I was doing a review of the XF10, my video review would be Fujifilm XF10 review. That would be the title.
Yeah.
Rather than XF10. Look what happened next.
Right.
Or what happened next? Question mark.
Actually, you've still got to think about the way people would search. They probably would go XF10 review, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
They don't need, XF10 changed my life.
No,
I'm a better lover because of it.
And what you also don't need is, well, actually you do need, because it does seem to work, but what you ideally don't want to be doing is sticking a stupid picture of your face with your mouth gaping open and looking totally surprised and shocked that there's cameras in your hand.
But
there's a camera in my hand.
Don't they tell you that's what you're supposed to do? You're supposed to. That's why none of my films get any views.
Because
there's not pictures of me going,
honestly. Why are people attracted to that? It's true. It works. No, you're right. It does. That's what they do tell you to do because it does seem to work. But I can't figure out why.
Well, just for the shits and giggles, let's look up. I bet you one of our favourite YouTubers, although you did say to me you've not been watching him of late as much, is Peter McKinnon. Okay?
Yeah, I haven't looked at YouTube in
Peter McKinnon.
Months.
I wonder how many of these. Look, they're all
Yeah.
Back in my element. There's him outside the front of a car going, ah!
Now, if you go to Matt Davalia,
selling all my cameras, that one, he's got a pained expression.
Yeah.
Matt
selling
Davalia.
all my cameras.
Yeah.
Yeah. See if that's not clickbait.
Yeah. Matt Diavella. Yeah.
Now, his icons are brilliant.
Yeah.
Because they're very
minimalistic.
Very minimalistic, very on point.
Yes.
He always, if you look carefully, there's always primary colours kicking around, blue, reds or greens.
That's clever, isn't it?
Yeah, he's gone for the eye-catching stuff.
Although they do feature him, though.
No, in most cases they do.
Well, the Netflix one is a bit, it's a bit suspect. But you're right, actually. No, they're not all gawpy, are they?
No.
Yeah.
But you see that one, How to Hack Your Habits. I mean, some of the titles are a bit clickbaity, but they're very good videos. How to Hack Your Habits. You see he's got the yellow book.
Yeah.
Notebook, purposefully done, probably.
Yeah, he does think very much about the colours, doesn't he? Yeah, very clever.
That's why he's got 3.16 million subscribers.
And he's and also the fact he's very, very clever as well.
Yeah,
he's very good.
And he's good looking.
Yeah,
and he's loaded. He's got a beautiful wife.
Hate him already.
Yeah, fit. Excellent.
Yeah. But you're right.
Unsubscribe.
Yeah, I've just unsubscribed.
I'm going to unbash that bell.
So does the photographer make the camera shiny? Yeah, definitely that way around, not the other way around. I have to say the X Pro 1 that I've been using for all my photo walks, absolutely adore it. Whether it's made, whether I'm saying I'm taking great pictures, look at me, but I just feel really comfortable with it. I'm not missing. I'm missing slightly my X100F, but that X Pro 1, I love it, absolutely love it.
Yeah.
Right, Kev.
Adrian Muscat says, "Hi Kevin and Neil," and then in brackets he says, "Or should it be Neil and Kevin?" ?
No, it's always Kevin Neil. I know my place.
Either way, you're both bloody awesome. Yada 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 yada
bloody
yada yada. Right, yeah. Has much changed in your approach to photographing weddings since you both first started? And another question, if you may, if someone was photographing a wedding, documentary style, for the very first time, what advice would you give them? Cheers, Adrian Muscat from Canberra.
Definitely, I've changed. Definitely, I've changed. Far more documentary than I was. I think that first 100 weddings. No, not first 100. That's nonsense. First 50 weddings or so. I probably followed the rule books of what I thought a wedding photographer should do. So that shot there, I think you gave that up after one or two, didn't you? When you came back and found that how long all those group shots had taken. But I think I followed the sort of what I thought wedding photographers should do. Wedding A to Z of wedding photography for a little while before I just relaxed and backed off and felt comfortable with myself.
Yeah, we had a similar question to this a while back, I think, and we both came to that same conclusion that, you know, documentary style was always something that I wanted to do. Where my approach to it probably has changed.
Did you know about it before you got interested? I know you didn't really, because Jeff Askoff was your inspiration, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was it. That was I kind of thought, that's the way I want to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So really, no, the style hasn't changed, and I think, you know, obviously certain things have changed the way you edit. I mean, I was looking at some of my old pictures a couple of weeks ago. He also says, if someone was photographing a wedding documentary style for the first time, what advice would you give them?
Well, number one, you don't need to be a ninja. This is not about hiding in the bushes like you're an SAS officer jumping out saying, "Do you want some?" It's just be yourself, which it's a terrible cliche, be yourself, but just be in there. Just be in there in those moments. Use your ears a lot. Ears will guide you often to the story. In fact, we've talked about this so often, haven't we, Kev? Mm-hmm. That, you know, what you hear often is what you end up shooting. Of course it is.
Don't overshoot. Don't think you've got to constantly take pictures all the time. You've got to be shooting everything, because you'll just miss stuff. That's
a very good point, actually, because a lot of people, I think, stand in the corner or whatever they're doing and think, "Oh, I should be photographing." There's nothing wrong. Although we've both had, I think, people come up to us and say, "Cheer up, mate, might never happen." Because the resting face while you're concentrating and trying to look for a story, I think is akin to looking miserable by the sound of it.
Yeah, that's my miserable face. That's my resting face all the time.
So, Kev, you're absolutely right. Put the camera down. Put the camera down. You don't have to be using it all the time. You're going to need to be a good negotiator. This is something I'm not sure people think about very much.
Because you need to get past the COVID compliance officer in the morning at the wedding.
Well, there is that added layer. But BC, there was always the situation of having to negotiate. Even though you want to be a fly on the wall, you have to negotiate with the registrars and the vicars and the priests. You have to be a good negotiator.
True.
I found a good question has been, which has served me reasonably well, apart from a few vicars that are just so stuck in their ways they don't want anything. But I normally go up and say, straight away, "Hello, I'm Neil. Nice to meet you. And where can I stand to get the best photos today?" Mm-hmm. That's normally quite a good opening question. Do never ask, "What are your rules?" and never ask the verger. The first person I try and duck away from is the verger. No disrespect to the verger at all.
Oh, do you remember Alice?
But
in
Vicar bless Alice, Vicar of Dibley. Yes, the late Alice, of course.
Yeah, sadly, that was an epic, brilliant program.
She was a great verger. I would definitely have wanted to talk to her.
Yeah,
as a character.
What do you call an interrupting cow?
I don't know. I was seeing how long you would last on that one. That was a classic moment of British comedy, wasn't it? Really?
Yeah, brilliant. Sorry, we disappear again.
But yeah, the verger, to try and avoid, if you possibly can, because they will lay down the rules according to what Sir Henry Cecil wrote in 1812. Probably the wrong name and definitely the wrong date.
Yeah,
but there we go.
Yeah, I totally agree with all of that. Yeah, I typically, if I'm going to see the registrar or the priest or something, I only ever take my X100. I hold it in my hand, leave all the other cameras in the bag.
That's a very good idea, yeah.
Just take my little X100 and go, "I'm the photographer, look, here's my camera."
Yeah, what a great idea.
And then they go, well, you can do what you want with that little thing.
Yeah.
That's when I go and then get my, Canon 5D Mark I, my 50 to 6000 millimeter lens, my DJI drone cameras, and swingers and all that stuff. Swingers?
What? Who are you taking along to a wedding?
That's the other podcast I do, sorry. Yeah.
You're back in Newport. So I'm not quite sure how to follow that. But and then the rest of the day, just follow the event. Watch it. Be with it. There might well be times where Kev's going to shudder now, you may need to organise some group shots. But even at those moments, make it really informal. You can do it. It can be done.
Don't listen to him. You shouldn't organise group shots. You should do group shots, but let the ushers organise them.
No.
That's the whole point.
Look, we've talked about this before. There's a reason the letter U is used for the word useless and usher. They can't organise anything. Don't lean on the moment the usher comes to me, what do you want me to do, mate? So panting like a dog, you think, I tell you what, go and have a beer. I'll be all right.
Oh my God, no chance. I like to just stand there. I tell you what, I'm going to stand in that over by there. I'm going to point at that tree or whatever where you're going to stand to people. I'll wait for you there.
I'll tell you, one of the most important pictures I have, group images that I have that I show, is actually one that, funnily enough, the ushers really did organise. I kind of put them in the places where I needed the beads so they didn't overlap too much. But essentially, it was just a bottle of bubbly. They shook it up, opened it, and everybody stood around and laughed while it went pop. And that is a group shot I get asked for over and over again. So it's very contrived now, but it works.
Oh, so it was you who invented that?
Yeah, do you remember the dinosaurs?
Oh God.
Right, so it's May Day here in the UK. This week, instead of a guest, we have an appeal. For 178 episodes, the sandwich filling, if you like, has been a mixture of guests from all over the world, many different genres, all levels of experience. And as we enter the summer months in the Northern Hemisphere, at any rate, we're introducing this kind of summer of love, though we're calling it Friends of the Show. We'll be hearing from some of the Fujifilm ambassadorial ex-photographers, but also, importantly, we want to hear from you, those who've driven the show, asked the questions, suggested the things we talk about, maybe joined the Patreon, supported the show by coming to a handful of events that we've had in Brighton and London. We think you'll be inspired too by those who you'll be hearing from, many who, like you, exactly like you, have lives outside making pictures and just love the opportunity to pick up a camera and go make some pictures. Photographers like Steve Ford, who, as he describes it, stepped off the corporate hamster wheel and went backpacking around the world for 5 years with his X100. But you don't have to have made a major life change quite like Steve. Perhaps your job or your life takes you to interesting places that becomes the muse for your lens. You have an interesting story that's involved with photography and your love with it. Maybe photography is just becoming your job now. Maybe it already is, but you make pictures of the unexpected. It's your stories we want to hear. What your photography means to you. There's no f-stop on this one because everybody has a story in them. We're going to take, 10 or find 15. That kind of alliteration with our friends of the show starting from next week. So, we'd like to hear from you. That's the appeal, really. Be sure to write into the show at the regular email address, which is click@fujicast.co.uk, click@fujicast.co.uk, or DM us through the Facebook group, Patreon, or the post that'll soon be in the Facebook group. Friends of the show, and everyone qualifies for that just by being ears to this here podcast. We want to hear from you. Right, back to your questions. Shall I go for an email one, Kev? Oh, by the way, we always need questions because we say that, but they can be conversation points. We've noticed the last couple of weeks more people have sort of been entering into conversation points, and that can be just as good. So get your thinking caps on, send them to click@fujicast.co.uk, or you can pop them in the Facebook thread, although that's getting quite unwieldy, Kev.
Yeah, I might clean it up. I might do another. I might turn off commenting on that and do another one.
Can you do that?
Yeah. I might do, yeah. But first of all, I'm going to go through and see if there's any outstanding ones.
So don't get angry if you see comments are turned off on that one. We might have a new one just to make it easy to find stuff.
Facebook, really, for the biggest, most used platform on the planet, has got an awful user interface. Awful.
Officially said by Kev.
Yeah. Well, I used to be the UI expert for Deutsche Bank.
Ah,
yeah.
Oh, that's very clever stuff. Of course you were.
Yeah, of course I was.
Yeah, right.
But then they sacked me.
No, they didn't sack you. You left, didn't you?
Yeah, well, yeah. End of contract.
Oh.
Let's just call it.
Oh, radio used to work like that for me. Right, question. Robin Chun. I hope to be purchasing an X100V soon, so my question, will the teleconverter, when attached, complete the weather sealing, or do you still need the doofer? I like that. Is that the official word, the doofer? And is there a recommended or better suited SD card? From Robin Chun in Longwell Green in Bristol. Brizzle.
I know Robin, nice guy.
Yeah.
I don't know the answer to that, with the teleconverter.
No?
I would have thought the doofer is still needed, but does the doofer have a thread on the front that you can then... I can't imagine a doofer will work.
There's going to be people now saying, what is the doofer? What do you mean by the doofer?
The doofer is the little thing that you doof... You screw on the lens and then it makes it weather sealed.
It has an actual name, doesn't it?
I think it's called the weather seal ring.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, we'll call it doofer. It sounds much better. Yeah, so...
Isn't that official Fujifilm part, the doofer?
Yeah.
Right.
It's doofer LRWOIS. Yeah, so I don't know. I really don't know the answer to that, and I probably won't be able to look it up right now, so you might have to do your own research.
What
on that,
about a
Robin.
better suited SD card?
Yeah, so SD cards, I always go for SanDisk, Extreme.
Yeah.
Now I typically do UHS-2 cards, although they are blinking expensive. So I normally wait for the Amazon
Black Friday sale.
Black Friday deals, yeah. However, we did get a very relevant email from somebody about the book review stuff. Obviously, we've got the book review coming up soon. And, we keep referring to Amazon and various things like that. And he's quite right. Jeff Bezos does have enough money. So get your memory cards from Canberra Cameras or MPB or somebody else.
Yeah. But probably not MPB. I don't think they do that.
All right, not them.
You use SD cards.
Your local places.
Yeah.
However, UHS-2 is typically what I go for these days.
We lost our local camera shop. I was gutted. Yeah, T4 cameras in Newbury. Gone.
Yeah,
Gone did.
Shame,
and I
shame.
always remember that day. I remember it. It was a funny little shop, actually, because... And it was perfect in many ways. The Kev, you'd have loved going there with me, because in the front you get all the cameras, and because they were proper camera people, both guys knew everything that you ever asked. In fact, they even knew the answer before you asked it. Then out the back, there was a malt whiskey shop, a little malt whiskey shop. So you go buy your camera bits, and then you'd say, do you fancy a little whiskey for the weekend, sir? Something for the weekend. So, what have you got? So come through and have a little tasting.
Wow.
Isn't that, now that is a camera shop.
How could that have gone out of business?
I know, and the day that it went, literally, the two of them, the lovely blokes, they were just crying. I won't mention their names, but they were just crying. And I understand why, and really missed that shop. Absolutely missed that shop.
Yeah.
Especially a little whiskey bit out the back.
Yeah.
Thank you, Robin. Yours.
Okay, so I have a question from Alan Brinkley. A couple of questions, in fact. It says, now that third-party manufacturers have the capability to make lenses for Fujifilm with reversing technology, now we talked about that last week, didn't we?
Yeah.
What brand and focal length would you like to have in your camera bags? Well, brand
new focal length.
Well, yeah, or... honestly, the thing I've been waiting for the most...
It's the 18mm.
It's the 18mm, a very fast 18mm, and Fujifilm have just done that. I don't feel like I'm missing anything, I have to say, in my prime range.
Right. Zoom wise, I mean, I've been using the 10-24 for so long, and it's proper beaten up whole lens now. I've always thought it's a little bit soft around the edges, and
that's his second question, in fact. Fujifilm 10-24 versus 10-24 WR, because there's a new version of that now.
No, I haven't got the new one, you see.
Is the WR WR standing for weather resistant, weather sealing, worth the price difference? I know that it adds protection, but up to now, I imagine people have been using the first version in all types of weather because there aren't any other choices.
No, and it was fine for me for years. Still fine.
Yeah. I honestly, for me, weather sealing, and I know that we live in a pretty boring part of the world, but if I had to pay extra for a weather sealed lens, and that's the only difference, like optically, I think the new version of the 10-24 is better also, but if that was the only difference, I wouldn't pay it. And now a very serious question is the third question. Would you rather have dividers for fingers or lens caps for hands?
Dividers for fingers or lens caps for hands? That's all a bit surreal.
Yeah, I can't stand dividers. I'd have to have lens cap hands. Yeah.
I've got in here a load more dividers. In fact, most of those are probably yours. If you ever throw out your dividers, Kev, send them my way, please.
Always throw them out.
Yeah, boxes and dividers.
Boxes full of dividers.
Yeah, that would be your nightmare. We'll do the book in a moment. Jarrell Gates, hello guys. Recently I've gotten into the film recipe thing, and I have a question. Do you have any tips on how to recreate the film recipe in Lightroom with the RAW files? I find there are times that I shoot with the right recipe and I'm happy with the JPEG, but then there are times that I'd like to try out one of my other recipes after the fact. I know I could use the in-camera RAW to Joey converter, but I was wondering if you have any insight on dialing in recipes to Lightroom. Well, I was lost at the Joey converter.
I think that's a misspell. I think that's
That's not right.
that's
is it?
autocorrect getting it wrong.
What's the converter?
JPEG
Converter. It's turned into a Joey converter.
Joey converter.
I was thinking, I've never heard of this Joey converter. What the hell is he talking about? Maybe I need to go back to college.
That's very funny.
From now on, I'm going to call it the Joey converter.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Thank you, Jarrell. That's brilliant. So, what's the answer to this?
Well, the brutal answer is you won't be able to get it perfect. You will not be able to use any RAW converter to get exactly the same as you can in the camera. The only tool that will get you that
is the Joey converter.
Is the X RAW converter.
Yes,
yeah, I think he's on about the RAW to Joey converter is the one in the camera.
Yeah.
And that's the same technology that is in X-RAW Studio.
Yeah.
The same RAW to Joey conversion.
Yeah.
But you won't get it. You won't get it exactly the same. You will get it very close though. Yeah. And simply, he hasn't mentioned it on that post. But you in Lightroom and Capture One and stuff, you have profiles. Yeah. So you can go into the profile and choose Acros or whichever one you want, and it will get you fairly good, fairly accurate, put it that way, but you won't get it exactly the same. And that's fairly accurate is usually good enough for most people, but for others it may not be. The reason why Fujifilm have released X-RAW Studio is so people can do that on their computers. But don't listen to what anybody else says about it. You can get exactly the same from other software. You can't, otherwise Fujifilm would never release that software.
I was just looking at Jarrell Gates' website here. He did it on SmugMug.
Yeah, it's a nice one. It's a nice website, actually.
We've never really talked about using SmugMug as your website, have we?
No, it looks good, though.
Yeah.
Done a good job of it. So SmugMug, obviously, now is Scottish-owned.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Good British company, but obviously international as well. But yeah, it's nice, isn't it? Nice and clean and crisp.
Yeah. Right. From now on, though, I'm always going to refer to it as the Joey converter.
Joey converter.
Joey converter.
RAW to Joey converter.
Raw to Joey.
I shoot Joey.
Yeah.
I could have a T-shirt that says "I shoot Joey."
Yeah. Yes, a whole YouTube channel. Right, book of the week. What have we got?
Right, we've got a very famous book. Walker Evans's American Photographs.
Yeah.
I dislike the cover immensely, though.
Why? Because
they've hyphenated on the cover.
Oh, photographs.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he couldn't fit in the same typeface.
Well, then use smaller fonts.
Right. That told him.
But however, the book is very is an iconic book for sure. 1938, I think the original one was produced, and it was.
Can you imagine having the first edition of that one?
Yeah. This is an exhibition for the Museum of Modern Art, and I need to read out the first paragraph on the sleeve notes, because you have to think of me trying to do this like one of those 1940s documentaries, American documentaries, where the voice comes over.
Oh, right.
More than any other artist.
Well, it doesn't come across like that.
No, I know, because I can't do it. Walker Evans invented the image of an essential America that we have long accepted as fact. American Photographs, first published by the Museum of Modern Art in 1938, is the purest and most complete expression of his cool, unblinking vision. And I think that's right. So you remember, we're going back to 1938 here, so we're seeing some incredible... No, America obviously doesn't have it has a huge history, but its modern history is not as varied as some of the other countries, including Britain. But it's when you look at the scenes from relatively recent times, you're looking at that kind of turn of the century, 20s, 30s. You see very different pictures to what you would expect now. I'm looking at the one picture I like on page 6 or page 7. It is actually is the barber seats.
Oh yeah.
2 leather barber seats, and in this walled room that's got newspaper on the walls.
They don't look like barber seats. They look like old
Smoky.
Yeah,
they do look like Old Smoky. Yeah.
We want to be sitting in one of those. What would we like today, sir? Short, back and fried.
Home of Perfecto Hair Restorer.
Sparky, not Smoky.
Old Sparky.
Correct.
Yeah.
Which did involve smoke.
It did indeed. Yeah. But what I really like is the very simple interior shots, like the bedrooms, the kitchens, all of that kind of stuff. And I don't think this is particularly a book that people are going to look at and marvel over the scenes, but it's definitely a history-making book, and that's why it's so important, because I remember, I think it was Daniel Meadows who mentioned this book, was one of the core books in the documentary photography school of journalism that he was part of. And the principles of good light, good content, and good kind of structure to the picture itself are it's relevant in these images, but whether you have an emotional attachment to them, it's different. There's like door stops and front doors and everything, and going back to what Martin Parro says, how many houses have you photographed the front door of? Probably none. And now we're looking at a front door from 1938. They've got massive streets, haven't they? Number 2,942.
I never get my head around the numbers.
1856. 24th Street.
We get to about I don't know, in this country we get somewhere close to about 300. We have to change the name of the road.
That's right. Yeah, massive. We'll change the postcode.
Yeah, that's it.
So yeah, I mean, this is the reason why I'm digging this book out is because I've only just got it actually. But it's the educational element of it I think is important, and from a how to understand that history is all around us, and the recording of history is something that we're all responsible for, regardless. And I've said it a million times. A benign picture today is the powerful pictures of the future.
Absolutely, but we're still not making them because we're thinking, it looks boring today.
Well, I'm not. Yeah, I mean, I have to say I'm the one to slap my own wrists. So Walker Evans was, of course, a very, very famous photographer, and because he was there at that time, and he was pushed by the Museum of Modern Art specifically for this, it is a textbook with whether you'll call them beautiful pictures or not, I don't know, but pictures that certainly
important pictures.
Are important. Yeah, absolutely. Walker Evans, American Photo-Graphs.
You've reminded me, when you were talking about doors, I instantly went across to Instagram. I just popped it on your screen there for you. Helen Jones Florio, who's the wife of Jason Florio, the photographer. And out in Africa, I met up with. I was sat there it was the west coast of Africa, sat there having a beer with Helen. Sadly, Jason was there as well. And
steady on.
I know. And we were having a chat about photographic projects, and she said, "Well, I've started one up called Doors." I said, "Well, what do you mean Doors?" And she literally does. That's what she takes pictures of doors in Africa and wherever they are in the world, actually, but is mainly Africa. Look at these; it's fantastic,
brilliant.
isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll put the link for this. It's Doors _ Helen Jones Florio,
And I know what people will think when they see this. They'll think, yeah, well, that's all right for her because she's in Africa and there's knocked down buildings with beautiful kind of decorative doors. That's all right for her. But those people who live in those places will be thinking, well, our front door is really boring. Look at your lovely glass framed front door in your house in London. Yeah. So that's not an excuse. Yeah, I love that.
And some of them are very, very simple ones as well. Like they're just the greens or the paint having come off the. And look, she's done exhibitions.
Yeah. Excellent.
So, yeah, Wembley ice cream. I love that. Yeah.
Mr. Fix-It.
There was, I don't know if she's got it here, but I know I took a picture of it. Oh, here it is. I took look. She took the very same picture, probably on the very same day. Look at this one. McDonald's restaurant. Not actually a McDonald's restaurant, but it's made out of corrugated tin, and somebody put up the signs McDonald's.
Yeah.
And we did actually go there to try and eat there, but it was closed, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But and sadly no longer there, apparently. No. What a lovely, lovely, lovely idea. But there's lots of front doors you can go and take the pictures of in this country. I mean, that gives me a great idea, because I swapped with her my idea of doing bathrooms of the world. I think her doors are better.
Yeah, well, both ideas are very good. Yeah.
But the doors is better. Jonathan Kerr has written in question. First of all, massive apologies, Jonathan, because you sent this in ages ago, and for some reason it got filed, and I've just found it. But I think it's still relevant to talk about. Prior to getting into shooting weddings and street a couple of years back, I was quite a prolific landscape photographer and garnered a modest following across Instagram and Facebook that I was very proud of. I photographed pretty much everything worth shooting at home in Northern Ireland. I'd been to Iceland a couple of times and landed a winter job photographing vans for a camper van hire company based in Reykjavik. What a great job that would be. Hey, that's van life.
It just...
And then all of a sudden, life happened. A relationship ended abruptly. I lost every ounce of confidence I had. I felt myself sliding toward depression, and ultimately I lost absolutely all love and all interest in photography. Thankfully, after a tough few years, I got over this loss and I'm back happily shooting again. However, having run out of weddings and street photography not being the same without people around, I've slowly started to get back into shooting in nature. I'd like to start vlogging. Not to become a YouTuber necessarily, but to create a visual journey for myself to encourage getting out there to shoot more regularly and to give me reason to visit landscape locations again that, quite frankly, I'd found incredibly boring after photographing them for the 100th time. So, to the question. Sadly, I know next to nothing about the world of sound. I'll be using an X-T2 to film with the 1024 and the 1655. See, they're two very good. I think they're brilliant for. In fact, I think we've recommended both those lenses for vlogging. Haven't we?
Yeah.
I'd greatly appreciate if you could recommend a microphone that won't cost the earth but will be decently reliable, and some sound tips. Well, there we go. Well, first of all, I'm going to go straight for the Video Micro, because that's a small little microphone. It's perfect
From Rode.
From Rode, yeah. And you can face it backwards. It's small enough that you can actually face it back when you're actually shooting, and then forward when you turn the camera back on yourself to do your vlogging, as it were. It's really good. It's not the best shotgun microphone in the world, but it's pretty good. And I stopped using all the other large microphones that mount on the hot shoe, used in a cold shoe way. And I just now use this. And I think that's the one I would recommend. Can't remember how much it is. It's not that much. I think it's about it's sub £100, isn't it?
Yeah, I think.
And $5.50 in America, clearly.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that seems to be the one the standard one. I mean,
you use that, I think, don't you?
I do have that. Yes. And I think actually what the charm of that one, I think, is that because you're vlogging, I think you need a little bit of ambience. If your audio sounds studio produced,
yes,
yet you're walking down a high street, that doesn't make sense to me. So yeah, a small compact one is perfect. Yeah, I've got that too.
Yeah. Any vlogging tips for Jonathan?
Well, the thing I always struggled with when I was using like XT2s and things like that was that I could never see myself.
Oh yes.
And I feel like if you have a camera that if you don't have a camera with a screen that flips around, which XT2 doesn't, you could get a small monitor, little monitor.
Makes it huge, though, doesn't it?
You can get very small ones now, though. That kind of clip on. It's just a HDMI feed. It's very simple. It doesn't have to be one of the big ones that records. Alternatively, get used to looking for your own reflection in the lens.
Oh, yeah, good idea. 1024 is good at that.
Yeah, you need to be able to see yourself because it's very easy. I did a whole sequence once and I just filmed my own breasts, basically.
Did you?
Yeah, it was terrible.
It's another one of those weird shoots again.
It was moobs. I just had the camera, when you're holding the monopod.
Yeah.
And it was just pointing down a bit. I thought it was all right, and actually it was just my upper body.
Stick a UV filter on the front, then you can see your reflection much better.
Oh, there you go. That's a good tip.
Sound-wise, though, no, not especially. That microphone should do you fine. I'm not quite sure what you're using in post-prod to actually make the films, but normalise the sound. And fine, as Kev said, I think it was last week, or maybe the week before actually, where you said the sound within the cameras is really quite good. It handles them really nicely.
XT2,
nice warm sound, I think.
Yeah, XT3, XT4 definitely the best. The XT4's got a beautiful compressor built into it. XT3 not too bad. GFX 100 is brilliant. However, you still want to think about an external mic regardless, and definitely on the XT2.
Yeah. So you put something like wear a lapel mic is what you're saying, or
lapel mic or something like that, and you'll be saved.
Good luck and have fun. There is a guy that I've spoken with on the other podcast. Who is a member of because he's a Fuji shooter. He's a member of. I'm sure he is. Mally Davis is a member of our group, FujiCast Facebook group, and go check out his YouTube channel because Mally's stuff is wonderful. He's just such a He's just such a natural bloke, proper northerner. He signs off always with Sithy, and his humour, everything about him, wonderful. Go check out his YouTube channel, Mally Davis. I'm sure he'll have a chat with you on Facebook as well.
Yeah.
Have we got time for one more question? One tinsy question, Kev?
I think so.
on, then.
This is from Jeff Petrie.
Jeff Petrie.
There's a lot of exclamation marks in there, so I haven't read it yet.
Is this going to be an angry mail?
Potentially. Anyway, it starts like this. Print your images! Exclamation mark. You've got to print your images! Exclamation mark. To be a photographer, you have to print your images! Exclamation mark.
Yeah.
Print your images and live with them for a while. If you print at home, what do you do with your images? How do you display them? Do you make wall art by mounting them and framing them? Postcard, photo-size prints, put them in a box, give them away. I want to buy a printer, but I'm not sure what the heck to do with the prints that I'll make. What do you do with your prints?
He sounds very confused there.
Yeah. No, I actually...
Should he or should he not print?
I have just been through this whole process.
Have you?
Yeah, because I when I moved to the new studio, I wanted to... I got rid of my... I had an office printer, like a paper printer.
Yeah.
But in order to try and help me, use less paper, I ditched it. It's gone. And it went to the father-in-law. So I no longer have a printer. And that was only an office printer. It wasn't a photo printer. All I could do little crappy prints on it. But then I did find myself thinking, I really want to print this picture out for Gemma or Rosa. So I went and bought a Canon selfie as in SELPHY.
Not a big printer.
No. It only does postcard size prints.
Canon selfie.
Hang on, I'll tell you what one it was. I bought it from Cambrian Cameras.
Thank God for you, by the way. That camera shop has literally lived off you.
I think it's actually called Carmarthen Cameras. But I always call it. I think it used to be called that.
Here we go. Oh, it's not expensive.
No. Yeah.
£89.49.
Yeah.
Yeah. 120 if you go to Curry's in pounds. 108 if you go to Cartridge People, or $17 anywhere in America.
Yeah. So I got a Canon selfie. CP1300.
Looks nice.
And it is nice, actually. It comes with like a roll of ink, I don't know, 25 piece of paper. And what's perfect for it is it just sits on the Wi-Fi, it just sits in the corner of the room, tiny.
So just Wi-Fi your stuff through to it?
You can Wi-Fi it, or you can do it over the Wi-Fi. So I print direct from Lightroom via Wi-Fi. It doesn't have to be plugged into my computer, put it that way.
Okay.
And you can print from your phone and all that kind of stuff.
What's the quality like? Is it
excellent?
Is it?
Yeah.
So is it as good as now? Giles prints on a beautiful printer that he's got, and he did this little postcard of me. Would it be that quality?
Well, that's a matte. So these are generally gloss prints.
But can you buy matte paper for it?
I'm not sure.
Right.
Possibly. I don't know. But they are thermal printed, so they're basically
just like
what you've got on your screen,
right?
For sure.
Right. Lovely.
So yeah, that's what I got, and that kind of pacified my need to be able to just print stuff, stick it in my wallet, take it home, and Rosa loves printing bits and pieces as well. So, but what I don't have is a big photo printer. I'll just send that all off to a lab.
Yeah. Oh, now again, referring back to Albert Watson of a couple of weeks ago, when I spoke to him, he said, "Do your own printing."
I don't believe in that. But
no, I know, but I like the look of this Canon selfie, I have to say.
Yeah, that's like the different. That's like the Instax type thing. But the selfie, where is it? Oh, there you go. CP1300. This one. Oh yeah,
this one.
Yeah, not the pink one. I got the white one. Yeah, that's the one I got. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really good. It just sits in the corner, doesn't do anything, and then when I want it to do something, it does something.
Now, I know you used to take a printer to weddings and print out pictures. Would you consider taking this?
No. This is like postcard size print. So that one you just showed me that Giles did, they're that big.
Right.
And I suppose the whole unit is probably, I don't know, about the same size as your funny button thing there.
Okay. Oh, that's not too big though.
Actually, a bit smaller than that, maybe.
Yeah, that's good.
But yeah, you could do, but you'd need power. You'd need to plug it in, all that kind of stuff.
And you're doing your editing, of course. Yeah.
And if I was going to be doing that, I would use the Instax, the mini prints.
Is it expensive to get the paper for it?
And I think they're about 15 quid, and that gives you. So the paper comes in a pack with the inks. So when the paper runs out, the inks run out as well.
Oh, right. So you're not going all through this ink thing all the time, right? Okay.
No. Yeah. So I think they say 130. I'm feeling 130 or 120 prints per ink box.
Wow. What a great idea.
Yeah, it's good.
I'm not sure that answers completely that question because he's looking at slightly larger scale printing.
Well, yeah, but it basically allows you to scratch that itch.
Yeah.
If that's what you want to do. But yeah, if you want anything larger, probably either invest in a large scale printer, or send it to a lab.
Right. Okay.
Or get Albert Watson to do it for you.
He doesn't have enough to do himself. God, he's so. I mean, the most amazing thing about Albert Watson, 50 years working in the industry, just about to turn an octogenarian. That's correct. Still working as hard as he ever did.
Good.
On the very first day, which I think is wonderful. One of the great things about being a photographer, just keep doing it as long as you can raise that camera to your eye.
Yeah, if you love it.
That's it for this week. If you've liked this or any of the week's shows, you can, of course, leave a review. That's always really helpful to us. And if you can share it in some way, that would be a lovely thing if you could do that this week. Just share it somewhere. That's always good for us. If you can... if you want to send in a question, then there are two ways to do it. You can either write to the email address, which is click@fujicast.co.uk, or you can send them in via the Facebook page that we have. And either way is good. But remember, if you can send in some slightly left field questions, that's all. Photographic left field will be best. If you can do so, that's lovely. Or of course, conversation points. Thank you to those that are supporting the show via Patreon. We should do another sort of Patreon mention in the next few weeks.
Next week,
And of course, you get bumped to the front if you send your questions in. Music from Blue Wednesday, supporting stuff from the incredibleartlist.io. And we will see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
The Fujicast is an independent Loading Zone production. Email the show with your questions and words of wisdom to click@fujicast.co.uk. Email any complaints and political nonsense to our wives, who will deal with your comments in their own good time and in their own good way.